Hi, I wanted to share with you an experience that I recently had. Last Friday, May the 4th, 2008, I was asked to speak at our local Relay for Life event here in Trenton, Florida. This is an annual event and it's quite a big deal here in our area. And I was very surprised as well as honored when I was asked if I would speak. Now, the request came about 3 weeks ago, and quite honestly, my first response was going to be, no, I didn't want to speak in front of all those people. Why would they want to listen to me? That was self-doubt. And I immediately recognized it as not something that I wish to live with. I have been working very hard for almost 10 years to become a stronger woman, a more confident woman, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. So I said yes. And I've spent the last 3 weeks digging into personal development so that I've come to the realization I have nothing to be afraid of. My path has been paved for me, and my story is my own. There's no way to tell your own story. You are the expert on your story, and you are truly the only one who can really share it. And so I would like to share with you a piece of my story and how cancer has impacted my life. Here we go. Birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions, holidays, and even memorials. These are all dates that make an impression in our lives. They create a marker in our personal timeline that will affect us forever. So often we can recall with great clarity where we were and what we were doing at that moment of the particular event. Good evening. My name is Sarah Beth Pergrassi, and it is my honor to speak with you on this topic. Like you, I wear many hats. I'm a wife, a mother, and a grandmother to the most amazing 18 grandchildren. And I'm also a teacher. We all juggle multiple roles throughout our life. And on December 1st, 2008, another hat was added to my collection. It was the hat of a warrior. Because you see, on that Monday morning, I was informed that I had cancer. Like these other special dates in our lives, I can still recall with great clarity the details of my visit with the doctor and how he gave me the findings of our tests, how he tried repetitively to explain my options and help me take those first steps. What I remember most was asking him to repeat himself 6 times. I just couldn't grasp what it was he was saying. Well, after that meeting, the rest of the day, in fact, how I got home, as well as the days that followed, they were a blur. In the course of 7 days, I had further tests done, and preparations were made for me to have a bilateral double mastectomy. This was the best course of action for me, considering that I had multiple clusters of cancer cells in both breasts. It was with my husband's love and support that the details of our daily lives were handled and the arrangements for my surgery were carried out. You see, during this time, I turned inward. I was overwhelmed with questions. How could this have happened to me? And I felt the weight of guilt that I placed upon myself. You see, I thought I had done all the things that were recommended to avoid breast cancer. I was trying to make healthy choices in our lifestyle. I breastfed my children upwards of 2 to 3 years. That's supposed to secure your safety, yes? And I felt very secure because there was no history of cancer in our family. All of these things made me think, It wasn't going to touch us. At that time, I also felt that I had brought the unspeakable to my daughters, my grandchildren, and my future offspring. They now have a history of cancer in their families. This is a heavy burden that I laid upon myself. It was at this time that I turned to the American Cancer Society. I called the 1-800 number and was directed to their offices in Gainesville. And there I spoke with a very caring woman several times. I wish I could remember her name. We spoke about practical things. What kind of clothing items would I need to have following my surgery and during my recovery, and where in the world do you buy those kinds of things? She listened as I spoke about all kinds of topics, anything that came to mind. I imagined she heard the distress in my voice, and so she allowed me to talk, responding if it was called for, but more importantly, just being that reassuring voice at the other end of the line. My surgery went well, and it was determined that I didn't need any further treatments outside of annual checkups with my oncologist. But my life had changed. That day in December put me at a crossroads, and I had to choose a different path for my health and my future. It took me less than a minute to realize that big changes were about to happen. Are you wondering, changes? Why changes? You see, I needed to make changes because I determined right then and there I wanted to be in my grandchildren's future. Not as a picture on the wall, but as an active participant. And that would require that I take control of my health. No longer meandering along the path, accepting whatever came my way, but by becoming the strongest, healthiest, and happiest person I could. Now for me, that meant I needed to lose weight. So I started on the path of losing over 100 pounds. It started by learning about making healthier food choices. Then I began including physical activity into my daily life. Now, it wasn't easy, and it wasn't always very much fun. But you know, even to this day, those can be hard choices that we have to make regularly. Hard or not, it is always a priority as I continue to create my best life. Through my efforts, I found a new passion for fitness. This led me to become a group fitness instructor, and I was able to bring Zumba fitness to our community. With renewed vigor and enthusiasm, I followed my passion with fitness to bring fun opportunities for my neighbors and my friends, encouraging them to join me and become more active themselves. And this was the birth of my Zumba fitness community. As my classes grew, I became more involved in the lives of my friends and neighbors, and I saw what a wonderful opportunity we had to pair our Zumba passion with supporting our neighbors through Relay for Life. And that's when Team Z-Pack was born. Since my meeting with the director of Relay for Life in our area, her name is Kyle Stone. Since meeting with her and forming the team, I have learned the multiple ways that the American Cancer Society and Relay reach into our communities with support, with loads of resources, as also with research. Now, this isn't as a faceless organization, but through connections with real people, our friends and neighbors. So you see, now I celebrate 2 birthdays every year, one in April and another in December. In fact, 2018 is one of those major milestone years for me. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was able to celebrate my 62nd birthday, and I'm enjoying the best health ever, physically, mentally, and emotionally, all because of the news that I received 10 years ago. Now, in December of this year, I'm going to celebrate again, because at that time, I will celebrate 10 years as a cancer survivor, as someone who's been given the chance to forge a new direction in her life. And I want to thank everyone who supports Relay for Life for joining with our teams, our neighbors, and our friends as we continue to battle cancer. I strongly feel and advocate that we are strong, we are fierce, and we are warriors fighting so that we're able to all joyfully celebrate many more birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions. There you have it. That's a piece of my story. If anything I've said resonates with you, I encourage you to share it with others. I encourage you, drop me a note. I would love to hear from you. If you feel that you're ready to take some steps forward to make changes in your lives, if it's having to do with health or fitness, or you just need a buddy, reach out to me. I want to support your efforts as well. Thank you for taking the time to spend with me this evening.